Evening, everyone. It's 6:50 on Tuesday the 7th, and this is a slight divergence from what is normally my closing comment. I'm going to go off topic here because there's a big speech tonight, and I want to go over what I think you're going to hear and what you're not going to hear. The markets were very strong and the at the close, and this chart is a chart of intraday of the S&P. Um, as you can see, Mr. Powell started talking, and we went from basically 4120 up to 4175. Now remember, this is the S&P, not the Dow. So 50 points in the S&P is really substantial. And then we went all the way down to 4100, actually a little below 4100. And that was a new low for the day and down on the day about $40. Then we rallied straight back up as he was finishing, and we hit the high for the day, which was 4188 and change. And we came back down and closed around 4160. 4164, I believe, was the number. And that was up $53, 1.3%. The rest of this is tonight. And this was all on our chairman of the Fed, Mr. Powell, talking on the televised speech that he gave at the Washington Economics Club, or in any event. It was, actually, I thought he was a little bit more hawkish than the market showed. He thinks that we're going to be here as long as we have to be here. And, I have continued to say in the last couple of months that this is a fight the Fed's going to win. There are no two ways about it. They have the ability to knock inflation down, and they seem to be doing it in a measured um, application of the of interest rates and quantitative tightening. Um, and make no bones about it, quantitative tightening, even just the runoff of the balance sheet at about 85 billion a month, is going to continue to shrink the money supply. And that's not something that the market likes. So, they can do it however they want, they can couch it however they want. It is a negative. There's no dispute about it. Less money is exactly the opposite of what caused the big rally, which was excessive money. You can't pump $7 trillion into a $20 trillion economy and not have the kind of bubble that we created. So, Mr. Biden's going to speak tonight, State of the Union. And what you're going to hear is about the jobs that he created. No president has ever created more jobs than he did. I'm not really sure if that's actually accurate, um, because no president has ever come into the White House with the most unemployment. Um, and I think that might be wrong also, but it's going to be close between him and FDR. So he's created all these jobs. You're also going to hear about how he's gotten gas prices to dramatically decline. They were over $5 even here in Massachusetts. And now, they're 3.25 or 3.50. Excuse me. Um, and so you're going to hear about what a great job he did bringing gas prices down in the last 8 or 10 months. What you're not going to hear is the fact that even down 40%, they're still 50% higher than the day he walked into the Oval Office. So clearly, that's at issue. Um, and you're also not going to hear about how they have depleted the Strategic Petroleum Reserve by pumping it out. Um, and now it's going to have to be replaced. And, it's just a matter of fact. What else you're going to hear is how they want to do a billionaire tax. I don't care. I'm not a billionaire. But the fact of the matter is, um, while the number of 8% seems to be the number that he's harping on, 8% is a low tax rate. But in terms of money raised, more money comes from those billionaires into the government in taxes, even at 8%. Um, you're also going to hear about a buyback tax, which is now 1%, and they're talking about quadrupling it. That would be just fine. I don't see that that would even be a problem. It's not going to happen because there's no way to get it through the House. But the fact of the matter is, this is a matter of picking winners and losers. You didn't hear about a windfall profits tax on Pfizer or Moderna or any of the other vaccine makers. Great. They did a great job. Still open for discussion as to what the long term ramifications of an mRNA based vaccine is to the human body, because frankly, there hasn't been time to test it. Um, so again, they are picking winners and losers. Now, I wouldn't mind if I were a billionaire paying a little more, but I'm not really sure that the government is in any way, shape, or form able to make sound judgments and sound investments. They just don't. The amount of fraud because of the way that they handled PPP and everything that related to the money that flowed out and into the public's pockets is gigantic. So they're not very good at dispersing. They're especially not very good at um, being able to identify hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud that took place. And so, I just don't feel like they're the ones to do the job. What you also won't hear is the fact that 40 million people live below the poverty level. 40 million. The biggest group of those are the 18 to 64, for 23 million of them. The age group of 17 down to 5 years old is another 9 million. And children under 5 is a 3.5 million number. But you're not going to hear any of that. And just going back to the pumping out of the SPR, you're also not going to hear that the SPR is for emergencies, not the emergency of the incumbent to help pump up his party for midterm elections. It was just amazing how that transpired. In any event, those are the things that I think you're going to hear and not hear. You can pick and choose all you want. This is not a political statement. I'd be saying the same thing if this were set up with the other party in control. But the bottom line is, it's a bunch of crap, and you ought to be aware of it. We have some serious problems, and this jackass is not solving them. And he's lying about it, as most politicians lie. Democrats, Republicans, independents, they all lie. They all are self-serving. But the fact of the matter is, that's just the way that things are here, because we don't take the bull by the horns, get out and vote, and do something about it. So that's it for tonight. I'll be back first thing in the morning with your pre-opening comment, and there will not be a daily note tonight. Have a good evening, everyone, and be sure and watch